Hello and welcome. We're back. We're back and we're talking about Wicked Games and the program coming up. I've been going through sort of the steps that we'll be taking. Let's see. There we go. Okay, now I can see where I can find comments. I've been going through all this week the sort of steps that we'll be taking are what's laid out in the program, and today we're talking about pretend. So Wicked Games is the program that's coming up. It starts on Monday, so that's just a few days away. And it is, the full title of it is 28 Days and Nights of Your Devoted Demons and the Nectar of Your Nightmares. So we're going to be working with our inner demons in order to renegotiate a relationship with them, renegotiate a way of being with them that is a little bit more mutually beneficial, at least more fun. So we'll be doing that through dream work. We'll be using dream work, and the reason that we're using dream work is because these conversations with our inner demons happen in our subconscious, and our dreams are the royal road to our subconscious. So if you one of the ways that we communicate with demons is through the imagination, through the subconscious, through intuition, and there's just really not a better vehicle than using your dreams that I know of. We'll be using some other things too. The body, for instance, we'll be paying attention to the body. Every day we'll be doing an embodied check-in to get used to being fluent in body language. Your body is also the sort of like storage unit of your subconscious. So we're going to get real fluent in being able to speak with your subconscious. Why do that? Well, first off, that's what shadow work is. So if you're drawn to shadow work at all, it really is working with the subconscious. And then secondly, magic. Magic is uniting the conscious and the subconscious or unconscious minds in order to fulfill or to create the life that you want, in order to influence the waking dream, if you will. Julia is here. Thank you so much for saying hi, Julia. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on and watching. I'm curious, Julia, if you've caught any of the other replays this week, and I'm also curious if you like to play pretend. Another way to say that is role playing, if you like to do any role playing, or acting. Do you like to do any acting? So in Wicked Games, the program that's coming up, it's a 28-day program, so you'll be getting an email each day in your inbox, and it's going to give you a prompt or a task that you can do each day to get to know your demons, your inner demons, to work with your dreams, to begin playing games with your demons, and basically to come into a different type of relationship with your inner demons. Now, what the hell am I talking about when I say demons? Josie! Hi, Josie! Anna was on yesterday and said that, the word demon, as I've been talking about it all week, was becoming less triggering. We totally, right? Like, I'm using this word on purpose so that we do go ahead and go into those taboo spaces that we wouldn't normally want to go. So when I'm talking about demons within this particular program, I'm talking about those like naughty bits of karma and trauma and stuck patterns. These don't like situations that seem to be really resistant to our magic and to any type of personal development or shadow work that we do. And we all have them. I have them. I know everybody has them. I'm curious. We've identified some don't like situations and some demons as we've been going through these lives. Someone had an anxiety demon. I shared with you my dream about this demon that loves to convince me that if I'm too magnetic and I attract too much attention, that I'll be violated. And it really convinces me that giving up is the best way to avoid that. And that came to me through a dream. Drew had a situation where we were talking about her don't like situation with playing small on social media, and she uncovered this demon that loves to get her to bend to its will and convince her. It likes to feel powerful and mighty by convincing her that she's very, very small. And so she started to renegotiate that contract or that relationship with that demon. Um, and is doing some, I think, going to play a game of truth or dare this next week with that demon. You have been with me live before. You don't know about role play. Do you have any acting experience or have you ever done any kind of like mystery dinner theater or even just like, so full disclosure here, I have a degree in theater, so I love I love playing different characters. And I've been doing theater, I was doing theater in high school, middle school, so I would even just like sit around with my friends and try on different characters. And I think it's great fun. So yeah, any experience at all with pretend? When I was a kid, I loved to play pretend, where we would, and of course I was the director. I was absolutely the director. So I would direct all of my friends with these grand adventures that we would have, and I would tell them who they are, and I would take on my role, and we would, do our thing. And we would have like epic storylines that would span days and weeks, or at least it seems that way to me in my little kid memory. So even this game of pretend, did you play pretend when you were a kid? Yeah. Wasn't that a fun game to play pretend when you were a kid? And we pretend all the time, especially as kids. We pretended to be our parents, and we pretended to be teachers, and we pretended to be bad guys, and and it was great fun, and it was liberating in a way to be able to like take on these roles and really sink into them. And there is an actress named Anna Devere Smith who she's also a playwright, and she created something called Everyday Life Performances, and she uses these for social justice. She uses these performances that she creates for social justice and creating awareness into different types of situations and social groups and communities of people that oh yeah, improv comedy too, for sure. Yeah, that's absolutely taking on roles, right? Anyway, Anna Devere Smith famously did it's called Everyday Life Performances, and what she does is she interviews people, um, and then she basically records the interview, transcribes it, and she becomes that person. She performs exactly like that person. I'll drop the link to some of her work. One of her most famous, I think this was actually her first movie. Well, it's not a movie, it's a collection of performances on film called Fires in the Mirror. And it's just a mind-blowing experience to watch her step into these characters and become these characters. And when I was in school, we did these everyday life performances. There's a certain technique to doing it, and so we did it. And I have to say, really taking on the mannerisms and the words and the way that people spoke and gestured and sat in their body. It was pretty profound. It was a pretty profound experience. And I think it creates a lot of empathy too, which is why I think role playing can be a really wonderful pathway to renegotiating a relationship with your inner demons. I totally got off my script. I write out notes, and then sometimes I follow them and sometimes I don't. So I'm just going to take a peek and see where I am. Right, I was telling you about the program. So 28 days, an email comes to your inbox. You get prompts for how to work with your inner demons, how to work with your dreams, how to play games, what sorts of games you could play. And then we also have 3 dream circles. So the dream circles are once a week. They're on Saturdays at 1 Central. And this is just a time where you can come in and you can, we'll be doing dream work. We'll be sharing dreams, parts of our dreams with each other, and noticing how that is speaking to us or rhyming with what we are doing with our demons, the way that we're playing with our demons. And then, hi, Anna, you made it. And then at the end of the 28 days, well, not quite at the end, but almost at the end, we're going to be having the Die a Living Death funeral workshop with Malachi Rose. Malachi was on with me yesterday, so you can go and watch that conversation if you want to. Malachi's a certified death doula and a Reaper magician, and does these things called living death funerals to help us grieve and process the loss of these different parts of ourselves that transition or that die off, or that we lose in some way, or the relationship changes in some way. So it's really profound magic, and it is the perfect ending to our 28 days together. We have a forum in Mighty Networks where we gather and you can share your dreams on a daily basis. You don't have to wait for the dream circles. You can also share what's going on with your demons, and you can get feedback and you can get witnessed. We have really basically one agreement that we make in there, and that is that we don't tell anybody what to do or how they're feeling. So the way that we do that with our etiquette is we say, you know, if this were my dream, if this were my demon, if this were my dream. And so we really honor the fact that any insights that we have or anything that we want to share with people is basically a projection of what's going on with our own stuff. And that keeps the unsolicited advice to a minimum or out completely. So that's really our only agreement in there. Obviously, I want you to be kind to people, but we want to witness people in their mess and their chaos, and it's so profoundly healing to be witnessed in your mess and your chaos and your don't know-ness and your, you know, all of the things that we sometimes think that we have to hide away from other people. Okay. Thank you, Anna. It was an amazing conversation between myself and Malachi. I love talking with Malachi. We could just go on and on and on and on and on. So that's the program, Wicked Games. It starts on Monday. So if you're interested in joining us, I've been dropping the link to the sales page everywhere. It's not hard to find. I'll drop it in the comments here as well. If you have any questions about it, you can obviously reach out to me. Just send me a message. And, you know, grab your seat if you want to come join us. It's $266. There is a payment plan available if you would like it or you need it. So if you have been thinking about doing this and it's been alive in your body and it's been intriguing to you, then reach out. Let's talk about it. Let's see if it's a good fit for you. And if you know it's a yes, we had someone yesterday that was like, yep, I'm in, totally in. And you just click the link and we're good to go. So that starts on Monday. So you have a couple more days that you can sign up and get your spot. I'm just going to check the comments. Groovy. Those of you that have been watching and those of you that haven't been watching, if you have any questions about this program, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions or about anything that I've said so far. Today we're going to be talking about pretend. So again, as I've been doing these Facebook Lives, I've kind of been giving you a little overview of what our time is going to be like together in Wicked Games. And so first we played hide and seek, which means that in the first week of the program, we're going to be basically figuring out where our demons are. We're going to be looking in our dreams. We're going to be looking in our body. And we're going to be, you know, saying hi to our demons. This is also the time too that if you're one of those people who doesn't remember their dreams very well, I've got some tricks and tips for you to find your dreams again as well. So that is basically what's going on in the first week. The second week, and I talked about this on Wednesday, is where we start playing games with our demons. We start setting up these containers for play. The reason we set up containers for play is because we're borrowing on some of the kink and BDSM world, where we set up these intentional containers where we can kind of stretch and nudge the edges of our nervous system in a consent-based container with an end. And so the way that this is all set up is really, really designed to help you stay in your window of tolerance, and at the same time to with tons and tons of empathy and curiosity to help you nudge those edges of your window of tolerance. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the drops. We're going to be talking about aftercare, which is what happens after the play is over, and it's the time of integration. So anytime you have this very expansive moment in your life, or expansive happening or event in your life, and you feel very expanded, you will, because of the laws of nature, you will then feel a contraction. And sometimes it's called a drop. In the kink and BDSM world, it's called a drop. We could also call it a letdown. And so what happens is truly like this heightened energy sort of gets let down. And because we are more comfortable with expansion than we are with contraction, we can often get into a place where this feels really, really uncomfortable. We probably ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I need to sleep a lot. I don't know why all these memories are coming up for me. And we can get into a place where we're sort of trying to claw our way back to the high. And this can actually set up an addictive pattern. So coming into knowing this and coming into a relationship with the drop that has much more empathy, some planning, some good planning, and just taking exquisite care of ourselves is a way to help that expansion complete, help it integrate into your system. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Today, we're talking about pretend. So I'm going to be giving you lots of, oh, you know what? Pause. So one of the things that we do every single day in Wicked Games is we're going to do an embodied check-in. Now, I led you through a pretty lengthy one on the first day, and we've been kind of doing different variations of the body check-in, of the embodied check-in every day. So we're going to go ahead and do that today as well. So, as always, if you want to close your eyes, you certainly can. If you don't want to, then I would suggest, encourage, hope that you would find something to focus on that isn't moving, where you can let your gaze go soft. Now, if you're driving, obviously this isn't going to work for you, but you can still kind of let your gaze go inward. So we're gonna, if you can, close your eyes, and we're gonna take 3 deep breaths. For me, taking these 3 deep breaths is it's a trigger, and what I mean by that is it sets off a groove in my neural pathways that say to me, that let my system know, I'm checking in with myself. And so as you're taking these 3 deep breaths, just let whatever sensations are in your body come to you. You don't have to go searching for them. Let them come to you. You can sort of even already get into that role-playing situation, maybe this regent, king or queen, that's sitting back and waiting for information to come to them. And at this particular point, we're not fixing or figuring anything out. We're just being curious. And remember, numb is also a sensation, and disconnected is also a sensation. And there is no right or wrong to any of the sensations that are present in our body. If you can, when these sensations arise, they come alive, see if you can find descriptive words for them or images. So rather than saying, I feel anxiety in my stomach, could you describe that feeling? Does it feel like a heaviness, like lava in your stomach? Does it feel like you have a nest of wasps in your stomach trying to get out? Does it feel gurgly? And now just begin to open your eyes slowly. And as you do, take a moment to just look around your room. Find something that your eyes can rest on. It feels really nourishing to you. And just remind yourself that you're back in this time and space in your room and you're safe. Okay, I'd love to know what you noticed in your body. Those of you that are watching, when you're watching later, what did you notice in your body? What sensations did you notice in your body? Just drop them in the comments. Okay, now we're going to talk about pretend. Just looking at my notes. Yeah. So as I said, I have a degree in theater. I love pretend. I've always loved playing pretend. I love taking on new characters. Sometimes it feels a little scary. Sometimes it feels a little high sensation for me to do it. And when I do, it can be really, really liberating. It can feel really liberating to me. And so I think one way to tap on our empathy, and empathy is so important in this program for us, is to allow ourselves to become other people. Anyone who has seen, what was it, Freaky Friday, right? With Jamie Lee Curtis and, was it, who was with her? Who was in that? Lindsay Lohan, right? And I think there's another version of that too, where the mom and the daughter switch places, right? So that's sort of a trope that is in several movies where these parents and kids switch places, and of course they see how the other's life is, and suddenly they have more empathy for the situation. So we don't have to rely on any kind of Freaky Friday situation. We can just actually role play and stepping into the shoes of somebody else. Noticing their behaviors, noticing the way that they talk. Even it's amazing how just doing that body language that they do puts you into a different character. So play around with that, not necessarily just with your demons, but play around with that, especially if you are having a difficult time empathizing with somebody else. I was about to jump to the last part of this, but I'm going to go in order. So let's talk about the different ways that you can do some playing pretend with your demons, okay? And we're going to go into more detail with this, and we're going to, everybody's going to set up their game, and they're going to have help setting up their games. So this isn't something necessarily that you need to get right now, like just absorb the information. Anna, you feel tingling in your feet like little ice picks jabbing. Great noticing and great description. Thank you. That's fantastic. So the thing that I noticed is that my throat is feeling tight, and I'm noticing actually the absence of something. Since I've been doing these embodied check-ins every day, I've been feeling this, like, what feels like a rope kind of twisting and tightening and stretching me on my right side, and I'm noticing the absence of that today. So those are the two things that I'm noticing. I'm also noticing a pressure, like things want to bubble up in my high heart. Those are the things that I'm noticing in my body today. Okay, so I've got three different things that you can do for pretend with your demons or in any situation, right? You can, first of all, you can switch places with your demons. So the way that we find our demons is we ask ourselves, what's our don't like situation that we have in our life? It's just there and it won't go away. So that might be playing small, that might be depression, that might be not being able to complete projects, that might be only being able to make a certain amount of money, that might be trouble with relationships, limited intimacy within relationships, or not being able to um, find the partner that you want, or the friends that you want, things like that. So there's some common demons, right? So we find that don't like situation, we locate it in our body, we start to talk to our demon that way. The demon tells us, this is what I love, this is what I want, these are the sensations that I crave feeling, and this is how I get that, how I meet that need through you. Okay, great. Right? So a really wonderful thing that you can do is you can switch places with your demons, right? So we were just talking about that Freaky Friday situation. So what would it you to actually get on the side of your demon and to, again, in a container, in a consensual container, do this within your imagination, or you can give someone in your life that is up for some fun and some games a heads up and do this play with them where you become this demon and you act out this demon. It can be very eye-opening. So let me give you an example. I was doing a project called Failing at Falling in Love. And what I really was doing was I was unhooking the patterns of enmeshment and codependency in my body. I already knew all the things. I read all the books. I took all the courses, but I needed to repattern that in my body. I needed a new pattern in my body. And so the person who was facilitating this failure project for me, Indigo Esmond, created something called the Dropout Party. And because they had different clients going through different failure projects, and so we were all coming together with this for this dropout party. Indigo runs the School of Failure, which is brilliant, by the way. So at this dropout party, my enmeshment demon loved to future cast, loved to create these elaborate stories with other people that showed me any kind of attention or affection, about how they would always be in my life and they would take care of me, and all of the things that the enmeshment demon does. And so during the dropout party, I had a Failing at Falling in Love booth, and everybody was instructed to come in and basically try to get me to fall in love with them. So I got to get on the side of my demon within a consensual container. Everybody's consenting to this. And I could let that demon feel the way that it wanted to feel without creating these false relationships in my life. So that's an example. Oh yeah, so here's the thing. So Anna says, never thought demons would allow space to switch places with them. Yes, okay, so here's the thing. Your demons are on your side. As soon as you start talking to your demons, you're going to understand that they are actually on your side. They are on your side, not on your case. It's just that they really crave a particular thing, a particular set of sensations. And if you are in a space where you're judging that and you're unwilling to give it to the demon, it's going to try to get it in any way that it can. And so sometimes that's, it comes out sideways. But yeah, your demons are on your side, not on your case. I have not run into a situation yet where that is not the case. Now, when we are judging our demons and we're judging what they want and their cravings as bad, that's where things start to get a little wonky. And that's why switching places for a little while, becoming the demon and letting and feeling the sensations in your body and giving yourself lots and lots of empathy and approval in a consensual container can help to renegotiate that relationship. In any relationship that you're in life, partners, kids, co-workers, colleagues, friends, all of that. If you're in a situation where you're not approving of the person that you're in a situation with, right? If you're very disapproving, that's not going to be a good relationship, and it's going to feel like they're against you, right? So your demons are on your side. Thank you for bringing that up, Anna. Yes, I'm going to talk about alter ego in just a little bit. Yes, so you could even think of your demon as your alter ego if you want to, but I'm going to talk about alter ego in just a little bit. That's my third one. But even just switching places, and ask your demon too to switch places with you and try that on. All this happens in the imaginal realm, and if you're trying to make sense of any of this, it's going to be real slippery, because this is not something that makes sense. Some of the most potent magic doesn't make sense. So just understand if you're feeling confused, or you're feeling like, oh, I don't understand the connection between this and this, that's great, that's wonderful. Working in the subconscious is chaotic, it's messy, it's confusing, and it's still very potent. So if it's not making sense, but you're feeling some kind of like there's a way that it makes sense to our thinking mind, our conscious mind, right? And then there's a way that it makes sense that we can't quite explain to anybody else that it makes sense. So if you've got that feeling where it kind of makes sense in your body, but you couldn't explain why it makes sense to people, then you're getting it. There's an aspect of you that's getting it. If this is just an absolute no for you, like there's no, it's not, well, you're probably not even watching anymore if that's true. But if this is just a no, this doesn't resonate, this doesn't make sense, then that's fine. That's fine. It's not for you. This isn't for you. However, like trying to put things in boxes and make one-to-one correlations, it's going to leave you feeling a little confused. So just a heads up with that, and that's totally fine to be confused. Okay, so you can trade places with your demon, and you can set up containers, and we'll talk a little bit more. I'll walk you through how to do that, but set up these play containers where you get to be your demon and try it on, and you can ask your demon to do the same thing, to try on what it's like to be you for a little while. And then at the end of these play containers, what happens is you and your demon come back together and you talk about things. What did you learn about being me, right? What did you learn? What did you like? What did you not like? What can you empathize with? What are you curious about? In addition to doing the aftercare, where you help yourself through that drop, through soothing self-care practices like taking a hot bath or taking a walk or words of affirmation. Those are some of my things that I like to do. Rest, lots of rest, sleeping, those sorts of things. So that's the first, is switching places, trading places. Number two, another role play situation that you can do with your demon is you can definitely do the whole dom and sub thing. So you can agree to let your demon dom you for a little while, or you can dom your demon for a little while. Again, create a container for it. Either do it within your imaginal realm, and it's a thing that happens in your imagination, or set up these containers with other people that are consenting. And it's like a scene that you're creating, like, or a game that you're creating. So there was a story. Oh, right. So an example of this, Malachi came to my Demons and Dreams workshop before I started running Wicked Games, or started marketing Wicked Games. And in that Demons and Dreams workshop, Mal discovered that they had a praise demon. And this praise demon wanted to hear lots and lots of praise, wanted to be just showered with praise from others. However, Mal was not on board with that. That felt very uncomfortable to Mal, and there were lots of stories around why that wasn't okay. And so the game that Mal's been playing with their praise demon is to, and Mal asked their partner to play as well. So again, a consensual container is to praise each other, just like over the top praise each other for a whole entire month, and to be able to feel. So Mal's really submitting to is agreeing and consenting to submit to being praised, and to the demon feeling, getting what its needs met in this way. So Mal is totally submitting to all of the sensations around getting praised. So that's an example of that one right there. Can I say my demon just bursts through in rage against my husband? Yeah, oftentimes when we're in partnership with people, our demons love to play with each other. And so what's the don't like situation that you're dealing with, Anna? Let's start there. What is the don't like situation that you're dealing with? The third is the alter ego. So I'm giving you some ideas for some ways that you can play pretend, or you can role play with your demon. First is to switch places with your demon, trade places with your demon. Second is to do the dom sub situation, and you can switch back and forth. You can do the switch if you want to. And then the third is creating an alter ego. So creating an alter ego, I call myself a lazy witch, and this alter ego was born out of my taskmaster demon. So my taskmaster demon really liked to ride my ass to do more, write more newsletters, be on more social media, make phone calls, like all the things, right? Clean the house, declutter, like all the things that the taskmaster wanted me to do. And there was this like really unhealthy relationship with my taskmaster where either I would like totally work and burn myself out, and or I would completely and totally shut down and like not do anything for weeks at a time. Maybe not weeks at a time, but definitely at least like a whole week before I would sort of like be able to come out of my funk. So when I got to know my taskmaster demon, and through the ways that I played with my taskmaster demon, I was able to create this alter ego, which is the lazy witch. And there are containers in which the lazy witch, she gets total approval, absolute 100% approval from me to be as lazy as she wants to be. And it is actually encouraged and preferred, and I actually see it as like a form of social justice, is to be lazy, so lazy. Now, this is in a particular container that she comes out. She doesn't run rampant, this alter ego, but she definitely comes in when I need rest and to keep me from burning out. So there are many times, I was talking with Mal about this yesterday, there are many times where I have these grand, huge plans for things, whether it's rituals or programs or whatever, and I love my lazy witch because she comes in and she's like, yeah, that's not necessary. That's not necessary. That's just busy work. That's just busy work. So she's very good at culling things and getting me to not do busy work, which I used to be really addicted to, as a way to try to prove my worth. That's what the taskmaster demon wants, is for me to prove my worth. So one of the things that we can do with our alter ego is we can start to see, like, what are these judgments that we have as we get to know our demons? What are these judgments that we have about different parts of ourselves that we think are not lovable, not worthy? And we can start to create these alter egos with those parts and let them play in a particular container. To get to know these parts of ourselves and these alter egos, and to start to approve of these things that we have been disapproving of for so long. So I also needed to approve of my messy self at some point. So there was definitely a point at which I was really playing with, how big of a fucking mess can I be? There are many different parts of our psyches that we have been told as we've been growing up are not allowed, whether that's your sexuality, whether that's your emotions or a particular emotion. Maybe you're not allowed to be sad, or you're not allowed to be angry. It could be your capacity or even desire for work, like, I don't think we're really meant to be here working 40 hours a week. I think we're meant to be eating snacks and, like, having relationships with each other. Yeah, that might be so. Holly, I would definitely say that you do probably need sleep because you're a new mom. So yeah, that seems like that's probably true for you. So the don't like situation, Anna, the don't like situation is that you feel bullied in your marriage. Is that right? Do I have that right? I mean, just sort of like paraphrasing and not. What I'm trying to do is um, I'm trying to not do his demon work for him, and not have you do his demon work for him. So your demon does not like being bullied. Okay, and this is a sticky situation. This is a sticky pattern that has sort of resisted any kind of magic and any kind of shadow work or personal development work. Is that right? Okay. So where do you feel that this don't like situation, I don't like being bullied, where do you feel that in your body? And I'm just going to take a drink of water while you answer that. Anybody else, if you have any questions, if you want to go through the process of finding your demon. So Holly, I don't know if you have a demon that is a rest demon. It might just be that you need sleep. If your don't like situation is that you don't have sleep, I would tune into your body and notice where you feel that don't like in your body. But it might just be that you need sleep. Now, you might have a demon that's trying to tell you that you can't. I know when I was a new mom, for whatever bizarre reason, everybody would tell me, sleep when the baby sleeps. And I got into, maybe it was my taskmaster demon that I just hadn't identified yet, but I got into this space of like, I didn't want to go to sleep when the baby was sleeping because I had all these things to do, or I might miss something, or I don't know what it was. I think I was kind of pissed that like I didn't have a life anymore, right? Because when you have a new baby, your life kind of gets put on hold. And as much as I love my daughter, amazing, as much as she was amazing, there was a little part of me that was sort of pissed that I didn't have the time to myself that I had had before. And so instead of sleeping, which was wasting time, I would do other things. So that was my experience. So I don't know if that resonates for you at all. Yep, like you should be getting, yep, you feel guilty. Yeah. So I would not say that it's a rest demon, Holly. I would say maybe it's something else. So where do you feel tired in your body? So Anna, your bullying don't like situation. Where is that in your body? When you think in your head, your throat, and your neck. Okay. So be with those sensations in a way that you are. Now remember, your demon is on your side. And so the best way to renegotiate a relationship with anyone, but specifically your demon, is to also be on your demon's side. So even if you're feeling resistant to being on the demon's side, see if you can at least tap into curiosity, if not empathy, and be with these sensations in your body in such a way that you're being curious and empathetic and non-judgmental as much as possible. And as you sit with these sensations in that way in your body, ask those sensations in your head, in your throat, and your neck, if that's your demon. Say, are you my demon? And see what it says to you. Yeah, Holly, I mean, you're not yourself anymore. And I think this is what, Holly, I don't know, yesterday, did you watch the talk between Malachi and myself yesterday? I didn't see you on, but have you watched the replay of it? I would really, really recommend that you watch that, because we're talking about, in that video, we're talking about death and grief and loss. And again, your baby is adorable. It's so wonderful to have a new baby. It feels amazing. And also there's a lot of grief that comes with that no one talks about. There's loss in transition, even when transition is amazing and wonderful. So yeah, you might watch that video with Mal. And you're signed up for Wicked Games, which is amazing. So that means you'll get to do the funeral at the end of the workshop. So that's fantastic. I think you'll get a lot out of that. Oh yeah, cool. What did you think of that? Did that resonate with you, Holly? You were there, you watched it. Great. So Anna, have you received confirmation and your demon may not answer, that's fine. We're gonna be very respectful of our demons as well. But did you get confirmation that that is your demon? There's always a lag time as we wait for all the computer stuff to catch up, people to type and to check in. Yeah, so as we wait, just a reminder that tomorrow we're going to be talking about the drop. We're going to be talking about the importance of aftercare, of being in the contraction and the integration in a way that is conscious, in a way that is taking sweet, exquisite care of yourself, and in a way that helps to reaffirm that there's nothing wrong with you. You think a lot about death. And how do you feel about that, Holly? How do you feel about that? Is that something that scares you? Is it fascinating to you? Is it sort of like bittersweet? How do you feel about death? And if anybody else has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes for Anna. I am not sure what else to talk about right now as I'm waiting for people to reply. These are questions, these are interactions, I should say, that are sort of better had on Zoom rather than through the comments feature. But whatever, it's fine. Yeah, my brain just got numb when I asked these questions. That totally makes sense, Anna. So that to me tells us that we are on to something. There is something in you that's protecting you, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine. I know a lot of personal development would say you're in resistance, but I think resistance is bullshit. I think it's protection. I just want to give that part of you that's protecting you big high fives. Thank you so much for protecting me, Anna. And so, you know, we may need to try again to come into this question and to get the answer. We may have to set up some ways that you feel safe. Again, like, this is not the ideal situation, typing comments into a Facebook Live for us to get into a part of us that's feeling really protective. So it can be really helpful to, you know, so first of all, we're going to establish a sense of safety by just thanking this part. It went numb. It doesn't want to talk to us. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for protecting me. And we're going to walk away from it. So that already sets up a sense of trust, right? That when that part puts up a boundary, we respect it. So that's number one. That's the first way to start to establish this safety. I'm guessing, Anna, that there have been times in your life where you have kind of bulldozed over your internal systems in order to keep going, keep producing, to not lose a relationship, so on and so forth. So to reestablish trust with yourself, you're going to just thank this part, and we'll come back to it or not come back to it. Yeah, so that's a good point. Anna says, I'm so exhausted as well. I haven't been going to sleep as I should. So first of all, me too. I totally resonate with that. And secondly, I would say that it's harder to do this when you're exhausted. We don't feel as safe when we're exhausted. So yeah, this is not the time to do the work. Your system is telling you this is not the time to do the work. So we're not going to do the work right now. We're going to say, okay, thank you for protecting me, system, and now's not the time, and I'll come back to it when I'm better rested. Yeah. Um, yeah, technology. Who knows? um, yeah, yeah, oftentimes Holly says, Anna, my brain does that too. Yeah, oftentimes, especially when we have a pattern of betraying ourselves in favor of um, anything. Um, our system does go numb when we start to turn inward and we start to ask questions. It's totally common. It's perfectly reasonable. It's creating safety. It's boundaries. Um, it's not resistance. It might be labeled as resistance in some other containers, but it is a boundary that your system is setting, and it is a way to keep you safe. It doesn't mean no forever and ever and ever. It means no, not right now. So just know that it's very common, especially when you are not used to tuning into yourself, which is why we do the embodied check-in every single day during this 28 days, so that your system gets to know that you are going to be consistent, you're going to keep showing up, you're going to honor boundaries, and it's reestablishing some trust with yourself. So I hope that makes sense. You're so welcome, Anna. It's been my pleasure to interact with you. And I'm so glad that you noticed that your system, that your mind went numb, and that you said that, and that you were able to really just embrace this boundary that your system has set for you. That's amazing, and I think you're going to find that that goes a long way to reestablishing some of this trust that maybe has been broken. And look, I have railroaded over myself so many different times. I have not listened to those little voices. I have not listened to those things in my system that were telling me no. So many times we're kind of indoctrinated to do that, right? Because we need to be good little workers, and so to be good little workers we have to ignore exhaustion, and we have to ignore boundaries where we don't feel like we're being treated correctly. We have to ignore all kinds of things that our system is coming to tell us. So I totally resonate with this. I totally get this. And so the way to recreate this, or to repair this trust, is when our system gives us a sign or a message, or some kind of information. We listen and we honor that. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. I appreciate you watching all of these lives, being on here, commenting, interacting with me. That's been amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. Again, we're going to be on tomorrow. It's going to be the last day for the lives for now. I'm going to be working with, and Daniela and I as well, we're going to be working with what we want to do with this particular group, where we want to go. I think we'll probably be talking about grief for a little bit too, because it's Scorpio season. Scorpio is all about death and sex, so maybe that's what we'll talk about during Scorpio season, is death and sex. But for tomorrow, we're talking about the drop. And of course, there is Wiki Games that you can still sign up for. I'll drop the link. Anna, I'd love it if you would check out the details for Wiki Games. I think it'd be amazing if you joined us in there. And if anybody else who has already signed up or is thinking about signing up, if you know anybody that's like a great fit for this, it can be super supportive to have a friend going through the same program with you, because that's just another layer of being able to find these places of support and witnessing with empathy and curiosity and non-judgment. That is so healing. All right, I'm going to sign off for now. I appreciate everybody being here. Please drop any comments or questions that you have in the comments below, and I will get back to it. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.